is not a name found in most history books. But those who read the chronicles never forgot him. His name was João de Castro, governor of India, hero of Diu, cosmographer, soldier, Christian, and a man of principle. In an age when many sailed to conquer, he sailed to serve. He was noble but rejected vanity, powerful but untouched by corruption. He commanded fortresses and fleets, but would rather die poor than betray his honor. This is the story of the man who saved Diu, but also of the one who tried to save the soul of the empire, who believed that power was a mission, and that even at the edge of the world it was still possible to be just. In the dawn of the 16th century, as oceans widened and empires rose, João de Castro was born in Lisbon on the 27th of February, 1500. The very same year Cabral first sighted the coast of Brazil. He was the son of Álvaro de Castro, a royal counselor, and the grandson of a former mayor of Lisbon. He grew up surrounded by treaties and maps, in a kingdom expanding ever further and sinking ever deeper into excess. He studied at the University of Coimbra, graduating in mathematics, astronomy, and cosmography. He was a disciple of Pedro Nunes, and from an early age he united science with honor. He could read the stars, he could measure the winds, but above all he knew how to listen to his conscience. He fought in Mazagan and Tangier. He took part in the 1535 expedition to Tunis alongside Prince Louis. Charles V tried to recruit him into the Habsburg Empire. João refused. Portugal was and would always be his only master. A soldier with the soul of a cosmographer, a viceroy with an astrolabe in hand and truth in his heart. In 1538, at the age of 38, he set sail for India, joining the expedition commanded by Martim Afonso de Souza, a veteran of many seas, as the winds carried him toward a fractured state of India. He sailed along the western coast of India, from Goa to Cochin and Basaim, mapping every inlet, every current, and every wind. He left behind 4 nautical chronicles, timeless pillars of Portugal's scientific legacy at sea. He described magnetic phenomena, latitudes, and sea routes with precise empirical detail. He was the first to understand that iron on board could disturb the magnetic needle, a breakthrough for navigation in the Indian Ocean. The sky was his map, the sea his field of study. His tables of the routings, now kept at the General Library of the University of Coimbra, reveal a meticulous mastery of cartographic art, where science and beauty came together. His letters were addressed to the king and to his son Álvaro, clear and precise, guided by reason and filled with humanity. While others chased wealth, he saw a duty and a laboratory of the world. He refused luxuries, he refused gifts, but he offered knowledge and fair command. In 1541, he set out across the Indian Ocean, leading a fleet into the Red Sea alongside Esteve da Gama. There he wrote the Red Sea Log, a scientific diary filled with magnetic and astronomical observations. Science in service of the sea and of a nation. And then in 1546, destiny called. Diu was under siege. Diu was the key to the Indian Ocean, a Portuguese outpost on the coast of Gujarat, coveted by sultans and Ottomans alike. The siege of 1546 was brutal. Thousands of soldiers from the Sultan and the Sublime Porte, backed by heavy artillery. Inside, João de Mascarenhas and his men held their ground. Isolated, surrounded, exhausted, João de Castro was summoned, and he did not hesitate. He gathered a fleet, few ships, fewer men, but an unshakable faith. Better to die than to lose Diu. He arrived and broke the blockade, landed reinforcements, brought new strength to the weary. He inspected the walls, inspired the troops, and restored hope. With reinforcements from Cochin and Basaim, the Portuguese pushed the enemy back. The siege was broken. Diu held firm. It wasn't just a military victory. It was a declaration of what Portugal stood for in the East. He was appointed governor of Portuguese India in 1545, though in truth his legacy would be that of a viceroy. And with that office, he inherited an empire on the verge of collapse. Unpaid soldiers, a devalued currency, corrupt officials, and trade in total disarray. He established a structured and efficient court in Goa, a new center of authority and order. With it, he strengthened the state of India as a true arm of King John III's crown. He inherited a crisis, but for him to govern was to resist. He tried to restore credit, reorganize the ports, curb abuse, and end privileges. He fought for justice, but justice made him many enemies among the powerful. Meanwhile, Diu still lay in ruins, but there was no money for repairs. So he did something no one expected. He asked a merchant for a personal loan, and with nothing left to offer as a guarantee, he pledged the only thing he had. "I have nothing but my beard I offer as a pledge of honor." All of Goa spoke of the gesture, a governor pawning his beard in the name of royal honor. He ruled with a sword in one hand and justice in the other. He died in Goa in 1548, far from his homeland, with no glory and no riches. He left behind his wife, Leonor Coutinho, and 4 sons. João de Castro followed in his footsteps, but none would match his example. His logs, letters, manuscripts, and observations are now part of the legacy of science and dignity. He died poor, but rich in honor, and in every wall of Diu echoes the silence of that rare man. He founded no cities. He never returned to court, but he left something greater, an example. The example of a man who sailed with science and ruled with soul, a man who faced cannons and also the temptation of power. His legacy lived on, echoed in chronicles, in memory, and even in poetry. The poet Camões would remember him as Castro the Strong, for what was stronger than iron was his soul. His memory was preserved by his descendants, who recorded his deeds in chronicles and manuscripts. Dom João de Castro became a literary and political symbol, just rule in the East. He will forever be remembered as the viceroy of honor and reason,